It's good, everybody. Joe Nice, live and direct as usual. Let me show you. It's good, everybody. Joe Nice, live and direct as usual. Right now, let me show you what's happening. All right, right now, I'm at the Pasquotank County Courthouse in Elizabeth City, North Carolina. This is the place where the Andrew Brown court case is being heard regarding the releasing the body camera footage for the Andrew Brown Jr. shooting. I'm going to try and get all these camera settings sorted out. I'm going to go with this camera setting. This one looks a little bit better. All right. As you can see, loads of independent media out and about, waiting for the news. Streaming this live right now on my Facebook page, facebook.com/JoeNiceDJ. Also streaming on YouTube, youtube.com/JoeNiceDJ. April 28, 2021. That's a Ryan. Thank you, brother. Appreciate that. This is what we do at Joe Nice Network, JNN Business. Share this video with your people. That's Justin. Thank you, brother. Love you, my man. Miss you. Please give Heather and the boys my best. A lot of different journalists from different media organizations around the United States, many of them independent. Spectrum News over there in the distance. We're over there. I was speaking to them earlier. They're out of Raleigh, North Carolina, so they're not too far away from me. They drove about 2.5 hours out. For me, it was about a 3-hour drive. Again, if you're watching, share this on your pages right now, please. National Public Radio in the distance. Kind of dude up front from the Daily Tar Heel. Good old Chapel Hill, North Carolina, not too far from where I am. I normally would have the earpieces in, but the earpiece creates that wind feedback, and we don't need wind feedback. It's a beautiful day in the neighborhood, so we're going to keep it going like this. Gonna know more soon about everything with regarding the releasing the footage of the Andrew Brown Jr. shooting. The lawyers for Andrew Brown Jr. Supposedly only saw 20 seconds of the body camera footage from one police officer. The police officer who they obtained that video footage from was the police officer furthest away from the incident. There were supposedly 8 other police officers involved. 9 officers in total. Of the 9 police officers, from what I understand, are 10 police officers. There are 2 that have resigned. A third took an early retirement. The remaining police officers are on administrative leave pending the results of the investigation, which is standard operating procedure anytime there is a police involved encounter. Got some activists across the street in the distance behind all of these very expensive cameras. I might need to get an expensive camera one of these days. I don't know yet. If I'm looking to expand the Joe Nice network. PAS Pasquo QUO Tango Alpha November Kilo County Courthouse. As you can see in the bottom of the ticker right there, Pasquotank County Courthouse. My information is there. Share it if you want. A lot happening. Realistically, I expect to be here most, if not all day today, maybe into the evening. Supposedly there is a curfew. I'm not sure when the curfew starts. I would imagine it's probably a sundown situation regarding the curfew. 7:30, maybe 8 p.m. I won't be here tomorrow. I might try to come back out here on Friday. See what's going on. Now we're just waiting. Police sheriffs in the window. Again, once again, just give you an idea of where I am, what I'm about, what we're doing today. We're at the Pasquotank County Courthouse. The county seat of Pasquotank County is Elizabeth City, North Carolina. Elizabeth City, North Carolina is where the Andrew Brown Jr. shooting took place a week ago today. There were, I think, 10 police officers involved. Lawyers for Mr. Brown were able to see body camera footage from one police officer for 20 seconds. And right now there is a court hearing to release the remainder of the body cam footage to the lawyers representing Andrew Brown Jr. Thank you, Justin. Appreciate that. Curfew from 8 p.m. to 6 a.m. So basically it's a sundown situation. Sundown situation. And a lot of others, I know in Graham, North Carolina, city I'm familiar with, it's about 30 minutes away from where I live. There were a couple of protesters arrested in Graham, North Carolina last night. Supposedly there was a new law in Graham, North Carolina. The county where Graham, North Carolina is located is Alamance County. And if you remember, I've done some broadcasts from Alamance County before, especially on election day, and I've been involved in some protests there. There is a massive Confederate statue in front of the courthouse in Alamance County. The monument is protected by a fence and 24-hour police protection. And supposedly there is a new law in Alamance County preventing. Supposedly there's a new law in Alamance County preventing groups larger than 10 from being involved in protests. Last night, according to several of my sources, there were about 40 people at the town square in Graham, North Carolina, and a couple of people were arrested simply for exercising their First Amendment rights. Not only their First Amendment rights, but their human rights, which would be Article 20 of the Universal Declaration of Human Rights, which allows people to peaceably assemble. And actually Article 19, which also involves freedom of speech. According to several people with Spectrum News, we were told that the judge will be rendering his decision in 20 minutes. That was about 25 minutes ago. So as is usually the case when we're waiting for a decision, it's a hurry up and wait situation. For those of you who just showed up to the live stream, once again, Joe Nice, live and direct as usual, coming to you from the Pasquotank County Courthouse in Elizabeth City, North Carolina. We are waiting for the judge to render his decision regarding releasing the body camera footage from the remaining officers for Andrew Brown Jr. We're waiting to see what happens. There are, I see, 5. I see there are about a few more members of the community that have just shown up recently. So there's probably about 20 to 30 community members, and the media vastly outnumbers the group of activists that are here waiting for the decision. There's a couple of journalists I actually know here. I'm going to chop it up with them a little bit later on today. Dr. Taylor, thank you so much. Appreciate you. High noon, 12 o'clock. $12 o'clock Eastern Standard Time, 1 o'clock Atlantic Coast Time. $5 p.m. GMT, 9 a.m. Pacific Standard Time. If you're in Hawaii, you're up early. That's 6 o'clock in the morning. And I appreciate you watching if you're in Hawaii. Or if you're on the other side of the world in Hong Kong or Perth, Western Australia or Thailand, and it's midnight, you're just about to wind down. Thanks for watching. Since I'm here and having this conversation amongst everybody, I might as well tell you what happened this morning. It was quite easy to get up here. It's quite easy. The drive was 3 hours, but let me show you what's happening. And I'll get back to my spot in a minute. There are police officers down the street there, and the next block over, and I was gonna pull up. Next thing you know, one of the cops was like, "Whoa, whoa, 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 where are you going? What are you doing? Hey!" I said, "Wait a minute, man. Got an independent channel, independent journalism. Got a YouTube and a Facebook, and I'm going to broadcast what's happening today." "Okay, sir, come right in. Be safe." "Thank you, officer." That easy. Let's see what this brother's got to say. Press conference talking about that the video shows he's running a car and shooting DK, feeling of what the video shows. He says that Brown's car being towards the deputies in contact with the deputies, then the shooting starts. There in what they are saying is on the video. So waiting here for this decision. It should come down at any minute, and we'll be sure to keep you updated on the Got brothers out here doing just broadcasting. Channel 3. I don't know what channel 3. I mean, there were no call letters on the gentleman's microphone flag, so there's no way to know. So as the dude with the Brooks Brothers suit on just said, "Look, we're gonna know something soon." And I don't know if it's Brooks Brothers. It might be Gap. Who knows? Could be J. Crew. Also on the other side of this railing here, kind of hanging out in these bushes. I got a nice little spot right here to see where everything's going on. So I don't know if any mainstream media apparatchiks are here. But that doesn't matter because what you have is Joe Nice Network, the only network that matters. JNN. That's a Herb saying, be careful in the wilds, bro. Always careful. Always careful. Again, if you're watching this stream, thank you. If you care to, please share this stream on your pages. Get the word out. Because what we don't want is the mainstream media not giving or giving a biased account of what is happening today. We have a light police presence here. Again, if you're watching this on Facebook, please share this on your pages. Please, if you're watching on YouTube, drop a like in the video. Certainly boost the algorithm in my favor. And just like an algorithm is a numbers game. We're trying to make sure the numbers add up. A few more activists have shown up. But certainly the amount of media personnel certainly outnumbers the number of community members. It's broadcasting on Instagram earlier, but somebody came rushing out of the doors here. We were expecting an announcement. That announcement was supposed to be about 20 minutes ago when they told me and a couple of other news organizations here that they would be letting everybody know what's going to be happening in about 20 minutes. So the court is not on time nor on schedule. Relatively light police presence out here today. That might change later tonight depending on the results of this court decision. As you can see, we are again here at the Pasquotank County Courthouse, built obviously in 1882. And we are awaiting the results of the Andrew Brown Jr. court case. Andrew Brown, I think, was 43 years old. He was shot several times by, I think, 9 or 10 different police officers in this city where I am right now, Elizabeth City, North Carolina. Elizabeth City, North Carolina, city of about 17,000 people. It's on the water. The breeze feels excellent today. Additionally, the city is about 17,000 people. It's about a 90-minute drive away from Greenville, North Carolina, about 3 hours away from the Raleigh-Durham, Chapel Hill. That's more like 3 hours away from Chapel Hill, 2.5 from Raleigh, about 6 hours away from Asheville, North Carolina. And Asheville's the other side of the state. I'm still waiting the decision. There it is. Again, still waiting. Thank you. Appreciate that. It's crazy what's happening in Palestine right now. So that's why I'm wearing it. Can't just pick and choose who you want to stand by. You know what I'm saying? So actually called it kufia. Kufia. Where again? White City. Okay. Several journalists who decided to stop sitting down on the curb and decided to stand up and start moving around. So it looks like a decision might be imminent. And as always, you can trust the JNN to give you the news and the updates as details become more available. What I've noticed is that many of these journalists that work in these organizations, they seem to be using the same script, or minimum the same narrative. Yeah. It's just strange to see that body camera footage from a police-involved shooting has not been released. The police are public servants. We, the public, pay their salaries. We should be allowed to see that body camera footage. Release the tapes, all of them. And any attempts to hide the footage or redact the footage certainly alludes to some type of cover-up by the police department, which, given the current climate between police and citizens, is not the type of transparency and accountability that anybody needs now or ever for that matter. Because I guarantee you, if the police did something proper or something that would certainly benefit them, the footage would have been released already. Yeah, I'm in the middle of the trees right now. A cop climbed one of these trees to rescue a cat. There was video footage of it. They put that out there for the world to see. But if a cop shoots somebody who's unarmed behind the wheel of their vehicle, it's a different story. Let's hold the tape up. Let's investigate. Let's have a bunch of hearings to make sure that we release these tapes at the right time. It doesn't sit right, doesn't smell right, doesn't feel right. Yeah. Yeah. Again, if you're wondering where I am, just read the banner. Or I'm sorry, read the ticker at the bottom of the screen. Oh, yeah. The ticker will provide you all the information that you need to know. If you're unfamiliar with the Andrew Brown Jr. situation, a quick search will provide you with the information regarding the facts and details of that case. Right now, I'm here at the Pasquotank County Courthouse to learn about the results of the tapes being released, the body camera footage being released to the lawyers representing Andrew Brown Jr. Earlier this week, the 20 seconds of body camera footage was shown to the lawyers representing Andrew Brown Jr. And according to the lawyer representing Andrew, one of the lawyers representing Andrew Brown Jr., it was 20 seconds of video footage that was shown from the police officer furthest away from Andrew Brown Jr.'s vehicle. Today, actually, was needless to say, there were, I think, 7 or 8 other officers involved. There supposedly is dashboard camera footage from the police vehicles involved. We're waiting to see that footage. Again, as you heard earlier, the one dude who was standing by over there said that the judge was going to take a 15 to 20-minute break, then render his decision. We've been streaming for about 38 minutes now, and I did about a 10 or 15-minute stream before that on Instagram to let everybody know that I was going to be going live here. So I've been in front of this courthouse for the better part of close to an hour. I don't know, many of these journalists have been here considerably longer than that. Okay, that's a door opening. Yeah, again, if you're watching this video, share it on your pages, please. If you're watching on YouTube, press the like button. Again, it would certainly boost the algorithm in my favor. It's a numbers game, and we're making sure all the numbers add up in my favor. Please. Try and get a little closer See what's happening. Better angle on this side. There's a whole lot of hurry up and wait at this point. Okay, we have sheriffs. This might be it. It's actually not. A few more community members showing up, a few more journalists showing up on the scene. That's what we've got here today. A lot of people out here today. A lot of people, a lot of cameras. Several independent journalists. A bunch of people from the corporate news media here doing their thing. We'll see what happens shortly. Hopefully the district attorney will walk through those. This guy from the doors approach the dozen or so microphones in the middle of the sidewalk and render his decision shortly. We got a lot of people waiting for this decision, not just here in Elizabeth City, North Carolina, but across the rest of North Carolina and the United States, and quite honestly around the world, because this is not just a situation limited to the eastern seaboard of North Carolina or the mid-Atlantic or the South with the United States. It's a global situation. A lot of people are aware of some of the facts of this case and want to know more. And that is always the case. If you want to know more, you come to the right place. Really. JNN, the Journalist Network. About 30 minutes later. Oh, yeah. Still waiting on the decision. That's more independent journalists behind me taking photographs. Eventually, this judge is going to go to lunch, so it might be in his best interest to let everybody know what's happening as soon as possible, if not sooner. More activists across the street behind the cameras, behind that large white SUV. People are in the distance across the street by the park. A couple more residents of Elizabeth City through the trees there. And again, it's just a continued hurry up and wait situation. Got somebody from NPR, National Public Radio, on one of the benches over there, covering the story. If anyone had told me a year ago that I would be going ahead and broadcasting for a courthouse about a court case, nobody would have believed me. Imagine what the pandemic would do to change my life. Again, if you're watching on YouTube, please press the like button. If you're watching on Facebook, share this with your people on Facebook, please. It's important. It's not just a matter of being Live and direct. It's also about being correct. Live, direct, correct. We try to do all the aforementioned at the same time. It's 4:30 Eastern Standard Time, 9:30 Pacific, 10:30 Mountain in the AM, 6:30 Hawaii time, 5:30 or 17:30 hours GMT, 18:30 Central Europe time. Again, Pasquotank County Courthouse, awaiting the court decision for the Andrew Brown Jr. court case regarding the releasing of the body camera footage for the police-involved shooting that took place 1 week ago today here in Elizabeth City, North Carolina. Certainly seems to be a bit more activity now than there was a few minutes ago. Again, it doesn't take all day to make this court decision. At least they shouldn't take this long. It's a rather Pavlovian response whenever those doors open up. Those doors open, everybody starts moving. Doors stay closed, nobody does anything. There's certainly more people showing up, awaiting the results. Again, more local residents showing up. I think a decision is imminent. We should see what happens. Big house, a lot of small. You're absolutely right. It's too big, too much. Got a small place downtown. That's where they. Okay, we've got dudes with badges and suits walking out. Oh, still nothing. In case anyone is wondering where I am, I'm in Elizabeth City, North Carolina, as you can see on the ticker at the bottom of the screen, at the Pasquotank County Courthouse, awaiting the results of the Andrew Brown Jr. Body camera footage from the police-involved shooting that took place a week ago today, if I'm not mistaken. So we're waiting patiently. We are being teased with doors opening and closing. A few more residents have shown up. A few more journalists across the street posted up. So you're gonna wait for somebody to walk out of those doors and show up there and address the universe. Okay. Again, if you're watching on Facebook, please share. If you're watching on YouTube, please press the like button, please. It manipulates the algorithm in my favor. Of course. So, guys, I've got that.
They work. The family members. They're still coming out.
So many of the family members involved in the court case, they're coming out. Man had a Ric Flair mask on, all right. That works in North Carolina. Still waiting to hear from the judge about this, releasing the body camera footage. Again, Elizabeth City, North Carolina, Pasquotank County, North Carolina, Elizabeth City, North Carolina. About a 90-minute drive away from Greenville, North Carolina, home of East Carolina University, about 3 hours away from Chapel Hill, about 2.5 from Raleigh-Durham area.
More family members coming out.
Appear to be more family members coming out, exiting the courthouse. Patience. Dr. Michael, thank you, brother. Appreciate you, my man. Okay, these look to be official people.
Please.
Here we are. So, Mr. Judge.
We appreciate the judge's time. We appreciate. All right. I'm not used to this. I'm usually on that. We appreciate the judge's time. I appreciate Amanda being here. As you can kind of tell, I'm confused with the judge's decision that our clients, the media, didn't have standing to bring the petition. We'll obviously have to look at his order and understand his basis for that. I do think there's a misapprehension of the statute, and folks thought we were moving under subsection F, which we weren't. Box is clearly checked subsection G, but we certainly visit that issue. With respect to the issue regarding release, certainly within his discretion, we're disappointed about that. We still believe that release would be appropriate and perhaps even helpful in this case. But at the end of the day, the judge has afforded an enormous amount of discretion under the statute. We'll have to deal with the standing issue, which, as I've indicated, I think this is my 34th or 35th, and that's never flipped.
Do you believe the family will release the video? Do you have recourse now?
Well, once the order is entered, as you probably heard me ask, if you consider certifying it for immediate appeal. The reason that I asked that and the other question, we also made a request. It's the same petition that we're here under, sought recordings from Elizabeth City Police Department. And what I was referencing is that while we were in the hearing, I received an order saying that the Elizabeth City Police Department petition wouldn't be heard today. If our clients don't have standing, then there's no need to move forward with that hearing. In my mind, being consistent with this ruling. But immediate, you can't appeal something that isn't finished. And so if we have to come back here for the Elizabeth City meeting, then so be it, and we'll appeal.
You said we worked on a lot of other cases like this.
I have no idea. I understand that our clients, the media, are not entitled to disclosure under. They don't have a right to come and say they want to see the recording at the sheriff's office, and that's why we moved under G, which is listed as general. And so this is didn't see it coming. Not sure how it got there.
So, Toddy, why does North Carolina treat police video as official records rather than public records?
That's a great question.
Well, that's my argument. What I was saying was that before, when we would seek body cameras or dash cameras, or dash cameras at the time, it was unclear. Were they public records? Were they records of criminal investigation, or were they personnel records? And when this statute came out, it made clear that they were neither personnel records nor were they public records. And so through the process, the General Assembly, in my opinion, by having the court order them into court, make them judicial records. And as I said in my argument, I think our clients through the First Amendment have a right to this.
Mr. Toddy, you brought up the case of the Aquarius Spring March 2019 in Charlotte. How is that case similar to this? What overall point?
Are you talking about at the Burger King?
Correct.
What I was getting at was in that particular case, the request was made for recordings of that particular incident. What happened was recordings were produced to the court for in-camera review, and they were released. And then sometime later, my recollection is the Charlotte City Council watched those recordings and many more that had not been disclosed to the court, that were in existence but unknown to the court. And so that's why our requests are broader than perhaps most, because we don't want that to happen. This is an inefficient process. We want the court to decide it and move on as opposed to the piecemeal. We didn't know it. We can appeal. The judge has an enormous amount of discretion on his substantive ruling on release. The issue that I didn't see coming was we have procedural standing. So our clients under the general provision have the right to be here to petition. What I understood Judge Foster to say was no. Which means, if you carry that further, that no one in North Carolina does. The media aren't special and we're special. If my neighbor is in a situation and I am not doing it, I think under subsection G, I should pass.
When disclosure is made to
the judge can limit what happens at those things, and it sounded like he was planning on not only limiting what they would see, but who could see it and what could happen there. You know, I will freely say I've never made a petition under F because I'm not actually representing the people in the video. I'm representing us. So, it's really important for you guys to get this right. There is disclosure under the statute, and there's release under the statute. Disclosure means you can see it. You cannot have a copy. Release is you can have a copy of it. The county's petition and our petition are receiving release. I heard the judge say disclosure based on his parameters, and then 30 days to 30 to 45 days later release. That's when somebody can have a copy. The statute indicates that the judge can limit, restrict, condition any release. And so I don't know what, we'll all see what the judge does in that order, whether the conditions it shouldn't be released.
And when you say some total of all 6 files or 5 cases,
no, we don't know anything about that. The way this statute works is we file the petition. Well, worked until today. We filed the petition. The court issues an order to law enforcement, ordering them to put the recordings into the court for or in camera or in chambers review, sets the date and time of the hearing, and law enforcement is to give notice to law enforcement officers in the recordings, whether by image or voice, that they have the right to be at this hearing. That was Mr. Williams' position. He was representing those folks. We don't get any copy of the notice that went out to the people. Most often, we don't know who's in the video until it's released or whose videos they are.
Now, the judge said 30 to 45 days, that's starting today, on the size of the order, or was that still because of the time we get to see it?
I don't know. So you'd have to read what the order that it's in. It says. I don't know what it is. I don't understand the standing issue at all. Didn't see it coming. Nobody's ever raised it before, and I think it's a misunderstanding of the statute. That's what medical team is. That's why we have courts of appeals in Raleigh, and that's what we want to do. And our clients want us to do. I don't know. I don't know.
I just want to take a second to put in plain the issue about I just want to put in plain English this issue about standing that you asked about. When we, as lawyers, talk about standing, the question is, do we have a right to be heard? Do we have a right to come in here and say, we would like to get copies of these videos? In our view, that part is not acceptable. That's very specific. And we believe it's spelled out. We just need the judge has great discretion in deciding whether to release. But essentially what the judge says, we didn't even have the right to act. And that's where we think that he's incorrect.
Wow. Ooh.
Thank you all for your time. Thanks to our clients for pushing on this. We'll hear from us soon. Thank you.
Thank you. So much for First Amendment rights.
Hello, everyone.
Good afternoon.
I'm Wayne Kendall and Mr. Harry Daniels. We represent along with the family of you guys have probably heard what the judge decided today. I was considering somewhat of a partial victory for the family, since that the judge did order a redacted release, or not, I mean, clear about releasing disclosure. He ordered a partial disclosure of the video camera recording to the son of Andrew Brown, Mr. Khalil Fairby. And that is to occur sometime within the next 10 days or so. That release should be made. And then he's also ordered that disclosure should be made rather. And then within the next 30 to 45 days, he will decide whether or not there will be an actual release of the video recorded to Mr. Fairby, depending upon whether the district attorney decides to bring any criminal charges or not bring criminal charges. We consider that a partial victory in the sense that the judge and the district attorney and the sheriff's department have admitted that there are at least 4 recordings and 1 dash cam recording for a total of 5 video cameras. As you will recall, a couple of days ago, they released only a snippet, a 20-second snippet of 1 recording. So at least now, it's sometime within the next 10 days or so, we will have the opportunity for at least 1 representative of the legal team, as well as Mr. Fairby, will be allowed to see these, what we consider to be now 5 video cams in full, with all of the facial features of the deputies that were there on the scene, as well as their identification, like a name badge, to be redacted or blurred out. So from the standpoint of the family, we would consider this a partial victory. Now, I also want to address something that I heard the district attorney to say that greatly disturbed me. Greatly. And that was the fact that Mrs. Lassiter here, who is standing to my left, somehow misconstrued, misrepresented the contents of the 20-second snippet that she was allowed to see along with a couple of family members a couple of days ago. The reason that greatly discouraged me is because this district attorney has had access to these recordings since they were recorded. The full recording, all 5 video recordings. He has had full access. And had he allowed Ms. Lassiter to see the entire contents of all 5 videos, there wouldn't be any issue about what's on the video and what his description of what is on the video is versus what her description of what the video is. And further, if he had released those video recordings to all of you, then the entire world would know what's on those videos.
Exactly.
So for him to come into court today and suggest that she somehow misconstrued or mischaracterized what is on those videos when he only allowed her to see 20 seconds of one video cam is beyond reprehensible.
It should be a month for it. It's good money.
The governor, Roy Cooper, you have called for a special prosecutor. There is no better reason than to have a special prosecutor in this case than what we heard Mr. Womble state in court today. He would take it upon himself to call for an admonishment of a licensed member of the bar for giving an honest interpretation of what was on those videos, that small snippet that she was allowed to see, and to ask for her to be admonished by the court for giving her recitation, her honest recitation, as a member of the bar of this state, as to what she saw. It's beyond reprehensible. When he has it in his power to let the whole world see all 5 videos. Now I'm gonna let my co-counsel Harry Daniels make a statement as well.
Not get distracted. Innocent man, gunned down, shot in the back of the head, vehicle riddled with bullets from the rear. Now I heard statements being made where he might have hit the deputies, or he might have did that. Well, show us the video. Show us the video. Show us the tape. Show the tape. If that's your position, show the tape. We already know if that was the case, then the media attorneys would not have to make an argument to show the tape. The tape will already be shown.
Exactly.
If that exonerates the law enforcement officer, the media would have already seen the tape. In Columbus, Ohio, the tape was immediately shown. Immediately shown. Show the tapes. Now, Miss Lassiter here did an outstanding job. She went in that room, she came out, and what she saw on that video is what she saw, and she represented. I've known her for a long time. A long time. And one thing I can tell you, she is not known to tell lies. Right? She is very professional. And for this district attorney, the elected official, to take a poke or stab at her character, when he had the opportunity to review all the evidence, and she saw a 20-second snippet, and she stand by her position that Andrew Brown was executed. Let no mistake about it. She stand by her position. It is appalling. It's shameful and it's disgraceful. But I assure you this, justice will be had. Justice will be served. In 10 days, 30 days, 300 days, or 3 years, justice will be had.
Yeah.
Now, let's tell me we're going to take it serious.
Yeah, I think I'm gonna say something. Good afternoon.
Good afternoon.
A couple days ago, Attorney Teller told you guys how he felt disrespected as a Black man. I have felt that same disrespect today. I am a member of this district, District 1 bar member in Elizabeth City, North Carolina. And I was not given the professional courtesy by Andrew Womble to have a conversation.
I would have been glad to have a conversation. If there was any confusions or questions about what I saw, I would have been glad to have a conversation, but he did not give me the opportunity.
He need your phone number there.
He has my information is all out there. And
You say you
at
know
no
why?
time,
I'm asking if you know why.
You should ask him
Ask
that.
him. I have
Ask
no
him that.
idea.
Don't ask him why
at
he
no
did it.
time have I given any misrepresentations. I still stand by what I saw in that clip it. I told everyone what I saw. We had 20 seconds. We watched it over and over to ensure that I tried as best I could not to miss anything.
And that's the whole reason. If you have a disputed facts, show the tape.
Right.
That's the issue.
And also, again, it was only one. We only saw one body cam. So if it's 5, I didn't even see 20 seconds of those 5. I only saw 20 seconds of one. So if I missed anything, and then with the redactions, it was a lot of blurred visions, So again, I stand by what I saw, and we will watch it again with the family again, and I just feel disrespected. Thank you.
All right, I'm gonna limit it to about 3-4 questions. So, no, I have not been in contact with FBI, but it's the FBI is here to investigate this matter.
This last sort of address, just at any point in the video that you saw, does Mr. Brown's car go towards the deputies or hit the deputies?
No, in no person that I saw, he was backing out away from them.
No.
And in prior video and before the DA Wammel had a meeting with you, did he give any indication before the court hearing that was the case, that the car had been moving forward and he had told you before, or is this the first time you're learning about it?
Absolutely not. And I asked him, what do we have here? And he didn't slow nothing. He played politics here. He's still running for judge, you got to remember.
And this Paul said that is the case eventually, whether one way or another. Does that change anything?
We will assess all the evidence that we have. Right now, my position is what Ms. Lasher stated, and I have a man that's dead, 7 children, shot in the back of the head, guns riddled in the back of a car. So regardless, show us the tape, and we'll determine what's justified, what's not justified. Right now, it is on their hands. It is on the hands of the Pasquotank County government. Show the tape.
Show the tapes.
Any more questions? All right, we're done. Let's go.
I see you, Reverend. I see you, Reverend. Okay. Okay. All right, let me get out of the sun. Let me get a little better lighting here. So, you just heard the judge's ruling. The judge is basically sitting on this footage for the next minimum 15 days, maybe as long as 30 days. The media is slowly beginning to disperse. There's no tapes that have been released yet, and we are waiting to see what happens as a result. So yeah, no footage, nothing's happening right now. Again, not to editorialize, but it's an absolute shame that this footage has not been released yet. We should be releasing the tapes. We'll go ahead and take a look and see what's going on with the attorney over here. I'll be right back.
This is the point. What they do in our name, we don't know about.
Anthony Brown in any way threatened these officers. And believe you me, that had he threatened these officers, this video would have been out the next day.
Agreed.
Would have been out in
Immediately.
droves the next day. You guys would have been the first to know that this shooting was a justified shooting based strictly and solely upon the fact that Andrew Brown threatened these officers with a vehicle. That didn't happen. You can go out there and look at the ground and see the tire tracks on the ground, and they go in reverse. All the witnesses that witnessed this incident said that he went in reverse, and that they started shooting before he even started the vehicle.
If it is established that the car somehow did strike these officers, does that necessarily exonerate you?
Absolutely
Criminal.
not. Absolutely not. Because these officers would have had a reasonable expectation that Andrew Brown was a threat to them in that vehicle. I don't think that there's going to be any facts to show that Andrew Brown was a threat to those officers in that vehicle. None whatsoever. If the facts show that they were holding on to the vehicle or whatever, and he was just simply trying to avoid contact and get away, and they placed themselves voluntarily in some manner to be harmed, then you may have an arguable case. But I don't think there was ever an intent, and no one would ever be able to show an intent, and no one will be able to show that there was a reasonable apprehension of an intent on the part of Andrew Brown to harm these officers.
Mr. Colonel, you're from North Carolina as well?
No. Absolutely not.
So you wanted that make attention to some sort of cover. There is this delay. They're saying it was aiming for officers.
I think there's a cover up of the cover up.
What do you mean by that, sir?
There are layers of cover up.
I agree with that.
There are people that initiated this, that know what happened, that are on the scene, that are actively providing cover for the people who went out and performed the acts. So when the higher ups cover up for the people that did the acts, and the people that did the acts are trying to elude accountability, that's what I call a cover up of the cover up. There will definitely be accountability in the end. It's just that it's going to be a fight because they're trying to not disclose information as best they can.
And Mr. Kendall, you call this a partial victory for the family, but we've 7 days ongoing protests here. The public's been wanting this video. How frustrating is this for the public or the protesters, the people who have to wait and then have to wait for another judge's order on this case?
Well, I say it's a partial victory for the family because this judge, for the first time, has indicated that the family will be allowed to see all videos with only redactions of identifying information, facial information, badge information, that sort of thing. So we've only, to this point, been allowed to see 20-second snippet of one recording. So that's a partial victory in that now we have 5 video cameras, dash cam, and 4 video body worn cameras. So that's why I say it's a partial victory.
But for the public, for the other people who are waiting on this, that don't have that access right now, how frustrating is that for them?
Very much so. And I would like for the public to have that access. I just don't represent the public in that sense. I represent the family. So to the extent that the public is not allowed to see it, there is no victory. And we heard from the representative from the press who says that this judge basically says, and I'll paraphrase, this judge is entirely off base and say that the media does not have standing. Now, I'm not a First Amendment lawyer in North Carolina. I'm not super familiar with this particular law in North Carolina. But according to this man, Michael, who was here representing the Georgia Press Association and all 20+ media organizations, he says that the judge is off base and say that he does not have standing to
asked for a release of this report. Now, I have to take him at his word. I mean, he said at the hearing that he's done 30 to 33 odd filings of this type to get recordings. So I'm assuming that he knows what he's talking
How soon do you think people will get sued?
about. Well, the judge said 10 days.
Yeah, but I mean, I didn't know if maybe you said we'll get it to you quick, like tomorrow.
I don't think it'll be that quick. The judge has to formally write up an order. That may take a few days. And then he's also indicated that there's some redactions that need to be made that he's gonna want to probably review. So I don't know. And then there's 5 cameras, so I don't know how long that's going to take. But he said within the next 10 days.
Well, what do you think about the judge's order? It's an unusual order to blur the faces of the officers. What are your thoughts about that?
Well, I have to rely on what the media representative said. He said that under North Carolina law, and I'm not familiar with this, I'm just paraphrasing what he said. He said under North Carolina law, there is the ability to get the names of the individuals who carried out this act. And he named a statute, and I wrote some notes down. He named that there was a statute, and if that is in fact the case, then there's no point in blurring faces or identification, because if the public has a right to the names under some personnel law, apparently, then there's no point in blurring the faces. And I will say this too, according to Ms. Lassiter, not only did they blur the faces in the 20-second snippet that she saw, but they also blurred body parts and weapons. So that 20-second snippet that she saw was basically almost nothing. I mean, when you consider the fact that they have 5 times as many recordings, or 5 instead of 1, and they were blurring weapons, so it's highly possible that she did not see what could have been seen if there was a contact with an officer in that video. That's why it was so unfair for this district attorney to imply that she mischaracterized a video that he was apparently a part of and objected to.
Jordan Wilkie with Carolina Public Press. In order to counter the statements from Womble, Attorney Lassiter said that she had several pages of notes. Are y'all interested in releasing those notes, any version of them, to show the entire scope of what she was able to see?
You'd have to ask Ms. Lassiter that, but I would kind of doubt it. That's attorney work product, which is privileged. Thank you, guys. I appreciate it.
Thank you. Much appreciated.
What's that?
This is unbelievable.
Yeah. So it smells like a cover.
This is total cover.
Yeah.
I mean, why seriously, why would 2 cops quit and another take early retirement if it wasn't a cover?
Right. Yeah.
It's ridiculous. Say again?
I said it seems pretty glaring.
Oh, I thought you were talking about my scalp. It's just that's just shea butter, brother. That's shea butter, vegan diet, and filtered water, man. That's what that is.
Joe, this is Ron.
Ron, how you doing, brother? You good? Nice one, man. Feeling that Brazil. Football Brasileiro. I see you, man. Yeah. I'm around. Yo, I remember you from Fort Monroe. Yeah, man. How you doing? You good? Everything's cool. You all right? Yeah, it's very small indeed. Yeah, I mean, I drove out from this. I needed to be here for this. I'm not here at all, man. I'm all the way out by Chapel Hill.
Right.
And I was like, okay, you know what? I mean, we're going to see what happens here, because the mainstream media is not doing what they're supposed to be doing regarding covering this. And now what we're seeing is that the judge has basically told the press that no one can see the videotape for at least 10 days. And there's going to be another court hearing after that. So
this is going to be long and drawn out. We're going to have to be.
This is going to be a long, drawn out process. And quite honestly, there's no reason for this to be a long, drawn out process, because it's a First Amendment right, freedom of the press.
Right.
And these are public servants. They're police officers. If they didn't want to be seen on camera, they shouldn't be police officers.
But not only that, if you did your job the correct way.
And if there was nothing to hide, this county courthouse wouldn't be redacting videotape and redacting body parts and weapons on the police officers. They wouldn't be doing any of that. It's ridiculous.
I want to tell y'all, this guy.
Yeah, we met. Yeah. Yeah. August 20th of last year. That's right. I remember you, man. Yeah, I remember you. Yeah, man.
But he's just one of those. And then you were telling me about yourself. Tell me you was.
DJ, record label owner, activist. You know how it is, man. I'm just out and about. And I figured, I'm not close to where this is now, but I mean, this is a nice little drive out. I left my place about 7:45 this morning, and
really, so you got hope about this.
Yeah, man, I made the decision last night to come out here.
What made you make the decision?
Because this court case could have happened. This situation could have happened anywhere, and we've seen situations like this happen before.
Right.
Additionally, there's the cover-up in all of this seems to be
everywhere. That's everywhere.
But this one just seems to be far too criminal. There are I think 9 police officers. 2 of them resigned. A third took an early retirement. The remainder are on standard administrative leave pending the results of the investigation, which is typically what happens in a police shooting. But again, this happened a week ago today. Why wait to release the body camera footage? Like the one lawyer said, in Cleveland, it happened immediately. They released that footage immediately. I guarantee you, if a cop were to climb that tree and rescue a kitten out of that tree, the police department would let everybody know that the cop climbed the tree and rescued a kitten or rescued a baby infant climbing up that tree. But if it's a black man being shot behind the wheel of a vehicle, with multiple wounds to the body and head, then there's all of a sudden a controversy, and all of a sudden the First Amendment rights go out the window, and you can't release the tape because you're denying the freedom of the press to everybody else to see the videotape, especially regarding public servants. It's a joke. Something needs to be done about this. Something needs to be done about this.
I have another question for you.
Yes,
right?
sir.
It was a shooting in Virginia Beach, April the 2nd.
Okay.
Right? And 2 people actually that shooting. Did you hear anything about that?
No.
Wow, really?
No. I mean, I haven't heard anything about that because there's been so many other incidents that have taken place. I didn't know about that. I honestly didn't.
You say the Paris and down in the Beach. It was shot in Virginia Beach.
Yep.
Right now we're saying that the police actually shot down.
Yeah.
Okay. So it was a stray bullet that hit his hands. But like I said, they're still keeping it tight knit. They're keeping it tight. And this something should have went out
immediately.
Everybody.
Immediately. Again, there's no reason for a police department and a district attorney and the judge to sequester a videotape of a police shooting. The whole reason we have body cameras and dashboard cameras is so there's no discrepancy on what happens when a citizen is involved in an encounter with the police. That's the whole reason you have these body cameras and you have dashboard cameras. Now, all of a sudden, when there may be a little bit of controversy or a lot of controversy that goes against what the police did or said or both, that a police doesn't, now Pasquotank County doesn't want to release the videotapes. Nah, that's wrong. That's wrong. If this happened in the White House, could you imagine the uproar? Let's not forget, the Watergate situation wasn't exactly videotapes, it was audio tapes. Right. And they hid the result of what happened with audio tapes. And that brought a president down. Right. That brought Nixon down. But all of a sudden, we can't get videotapes from a shooting where somebody died?
Something.
Do you see the discrepancy in this?
I understand it. I truly understand it. But it's still, until we stand up and continue to be on top of it. I mean, like they basically did a protest last night. What if we do a protest?
Yeah.
But ain't a protest like we're used to.
Yes. Yeah, I know. The guy John who was down there, he works for Status Quo, and he's been covering the protests here all week. It's on youtube.com/statusquo. I actually met John. Actually known him for a while, but I met him 4 months ago again. Right. at the protests, the Medicare for All rally in Washington, D.C., 2 days before the 2 days. He was standing right next to him, marching around right near the Capitol building. Don't stop the ball, Medicare for all. Me, him, like 35 other people. And we were being harassed by probably 15 or 20 cops because we were trying to get the force a floor vote on the House of Representatives to get Medicare for all. And there were, and essentially there were 20 cops that showed up. But then 2 days later, a bunch of protesters show up to overturn the results of an investigation of a presidential election, and the cops were sitting on their hands. This is absolutely ridiculous. This is absolutely ridiculous. And I'm disappointed by the results of this court case. And I certainly expected a positive result, but this is certainly not a positive result at all. I understand the attorney representing the family saying that it is a small victory, right, because you have to take some sort of good out of this. But I'm not sure how this is a small victory at all, because they were only able to see 20 seconds of a redacted videotape. And what was redacted was to the point where you could not identify the names or the badges of the officers or the weapons that the officers were carrying.
But what I will say, maybe it's coming down the street. If you basically slow that tape down, you'll be the innocent. See, when they came down the street in that truck, right? It was about 6 of them on the back of the truck.
Yeah. Yeah. It just,
I'm gonna make sure.
Yeah. I remember you, Earl. I'll message you. Hey, good to see you again.
Same.
Yeah, man. Yeah, and I'm gonna get something to eat, hang out for a little bit, and then see what's going on after this. But
It was a good little place down there.
which where? Down the street. I've never been to Elizabeth City, so I don't.
Really?
Yeah, I don't know this place.
I probably.
All right.
Anyway,
I'm gonna walk around a bit more. All right.
okay, good.
All right.
Peace.
Take care. All right. So again, judge is not releasing the videotape. No tape getting released at all. It is an absolute travesty. It is happening right here in Elizabeth City, North Carolina. We expected some sort of positive result regarding the release of this videotape footage, but it hasn't happened. So that's what's going on. I'm gonna hang out here for a little bit more and see what's going on after this, but you already know what it is.